Ciao, I'm John Baresi and welcome to the Tastes of Italy.
And I'm Cindy Sargon. Over the next few months, John and I would like you to join us as we go on a journey searching for the special ingredients that make up the fine wining and dining experience that can only be found in La Bella Italia.
That's beautiful, Cindy. Now, can you guess where we're going first?
Let me think. The Veneto.
The Veneto is one of 20 quite distinct regions in Italy, each offering its own special cultural experience. And each week, Cindy and I will be visiting one of those regions to discover the unique offerings that contribute to the overall Italian lifestyle.
The Veneto is a gorgeous area located in the northeast, and its best-known city is, of course, Venice.
Venice, La Serenissima, unsurpassed for the magic of its romance and mystery. Perched precariously on a network of 117 islands, Venezia is now a magnet for tourists from all over the world. However, in centuries past, Venice ranked as one of the most important and powerful cities in the world, a maritime crossroad for traders and travellers. But behind the tourist icons of St. Mark's Square and the Rialto Bridge, a labyrinth of canals and narrow lanes, or calés as they're known, conceal marvellous restaurants and bars steeped in the tradition brought to the region by those early traders. Traders who influenced the menus to include salt, fish, and a vast range of spices, peppers, ginger, saffron, cloves and nutmeg.
But travelling inland from the Venetian lagoon, there's much more to discover in the Veneto region than the artistic treasures of Venice. Bounded to the west by Lago di Garda, one of the great Italian lakes, and stretching north to the Dolomites, the fertile countryside is dotted with many beautiful towns, all which have made their own unique contribution to the Italian way of life. Vicenza, where Andrea Palladio developed his Palladian architecture, one of the most influential styles in history. And Verona, home of the Arena, an amphitheatre dating back 2,000 years, to which each summer thousands of visitors flock to enjoy a series of classic operas presented under the stars. This is a very special region of Italy.
And thanks to the marvel of modern-day travel, the Italian influence has spread to almost every corner of the globe. These days we can enjoy the tastes and lifestyles more than half a world away here in Australia, and especially in Melbourne, one of the most livable cities in the world. A modern and vibrant city, Melbourne has enjoyed the benefits of a multicultural population. For more than a century, a strong Italian community has flourished in the city, establishing in particular a formidable presence in the hospitality industry. The Italian restaurant is now very much a part of the Australian lifestyle.
Melbourne's Grossi Florentino is one of the finest Italian restaurants in the Southern Hemisphere. Located in Bourke Street, one of Melbourne's main city thoroughfares, the Florentino has been a vital part of the city's restaurant scene for more than 100 years.
Complementing the bistro-style dining options, the heart of the Grossi Florentino operation, the restaurant. The stunning murals above the panelled walls provide the ambience and set the mood. This is fine dining in a stylish and elegant setting.
Guy Grossi's the head chef and driving force behind the Florentino. And his mother's from the Veneto, so the region has a special place in his heart. Let's go inside and meet him.
Buongiorno. Come andiamo?
Ah, very good, va bene. Thanks for inviting us to the very beautiful Grossi Florentino.
Great pleasure to have you. Let's go and have a chat.
Fabulous. Guy, you've been quoted as saying that you want the Florentino to be as Italian as possible. Explain that to us. What do you mean?
Well, the Florentino is Italian. It has an Italian background and Italian heritage. To me, being as Italian as possible means being true to that heritage and being honest with yourself about all those fundamentals that come through the background, but also having the courage to move on, to develop the cuisine, to develop la cucina italiana. And the most Italian thing for any chef to do is to respect all of the beautiful imported ingredients that come from wonderful regions like the Veneto, which is very close to my heart, as you know, because my mother comes from there and so forth, but also to take into account everything that's happening locally, and that's very important, and that's how the cucina develops, because it's such a dynamic thing.
So your mother's from the region of Verona, the star-crossed lovers, Romeo and Juliet. Tell us a little bit about that area and foods from that area.
It's a beautiful city. Verona is a wonderful city. It's part of the northeastern side of Italy. They really love their cities there. The people are very industrious. They work hard. They keep the city clean, and they just love it. They're so proud of it. And a great history of food and culture. It was first set up by the Romans as their northern base, as their northern headquarters. So there's a lot of very Roman-style buildings there. But the food has definitely adopted a very Nordic style. For example, they do the bacala, which is salt cod, which is one of those things that came about from peasantry. It was a way of preserving fish for when it wasn't plentiful or when the fishing wasn't good. But now it becomes part of the cuisine, and it's done in many different ways. So the lovely rich polentas with gorgonzola and polentas just served sometimes with salami in farmhouses.
And polenta and rice is very popular in that region as opposed to pasta, isn't it?
Absolutely. They have some pasta, but mainly they focus with the polenta. I risotti are very, very famous. The famous risotto ai risi e bisi, the lovely little things like that, and of course the gnocchi that we're cooking today.
All that talk about food is making me very hungry. Should we get in the kitchen and start cooking?
What a great way to end the segment. Let's go.
Okay, Guy, talk us through what we're about to have.
What we're having is a veal ragu with gnocchi. We're making beautiful gnocchi, which is from the Veneto, where my mum comes from. And we grew up on the stuff. It's a beautiful potato dumpling, and we're doing a really kind of Italian, rich tomatoey ragu, because the Veneti love their beautiful ragus. They use lovely whites and reds in their ragus. But let's get started on this ragu, okay? So we've got this lovely chopped, I like to call it a sofrito, a mirepoix. Yep. And what we do is we get some beautiful olive oil, and this is from the hills of Lago di Garda as well. So we're using a Veneto olive oil. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to get these little lovely vegetables which we've chopped up to make our mirepoix. And I'm also going to add to that some little bit of chopped chilli, just to spice things up, because I heard you were coming along today, Cindy, so I wanted to spice things up.
And I do love chilli. It's one of my favourite. Oh yeah, one of my favourite ingredients.
A little bit of garlic, but not too much. Because after you try my gnocchi ragu, I know you're going to want to kiss me. And here we have some sage and some thyme. I love lovely fresh thyme in dishes like this. It really enhances it. And of course, un po' di rosmarino.
And that is gorgeous. So young, like the stem on that's so green and beautiful.
Lovely and fresh. And it gives it just to give us our beautiful aromatics. Okay, so we'll get this frying off in here. Is everybody all right in the background over there? Seems to be a fire. Seems to be a fire. Okay. See how that all sizzles? This is what we call a sofrito. So we get all the lovely sugars coming out of the onion and all those beautiful flavours, all right? A couple of cloves as well, all right? For
that
some
must be
more
kind of
aromatics.
one of those
just
special ingredients that you
spices,
can't always
yes.
pick on.
Well, you don't want to pick it up on the palate. You just want to have it there as a little thing. Well, what is that lovely flavour? And here's another one, little noce moscato, nutmeg. So just a slight little grate in there because we're going to use some of this in our gnocchi as well.
Is fresh nutmeg fairly easily readily available?
Absolutely, you can get it from all your good delis and things like that. And it's so much nicer than buying the powdered one. Obviously, you've picked up on this because it's got that freshness about it. So it's like a coffee bean. Freshly ground coffee beans are beautiful.
And spices go off too.
They do. They lose their flavour. Once you've got that in there and it's starting to go.
You're using Girello for this.
I'm using a Girello veal,
Now
yes.
that's a really lean cut of meat. Why have you chosen that?
It's actually from the leg of the veal, from the hind leg. So it kind of has got fat through the meat. It looks quite lean when you trim it, but if you actually look in there, it's got a lot of marbling in the grain of the meat. So it is quite fatty. And I've always absolutely, and I've always been a bit of a leg man myself, so I like the cuts from the hind leg. That's one of my favourites. So we just let that
smells
colour up.
fantastic.
You're smelling that? It's good,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
great.
Okay. So there's a couple of components to this dish because we've got to get our ragu on, which is this part, and then we've got to get our gnocchi happening. So we're going to season that up now. We've got some salt and pepper here. Now you can do the pepper and I can do the salt. Do you think that's enough?
Oh, I don't know.
A little bit more salt? A little bit more. Why not? There we go. Okay, you've done well there. You've done this before. Now, I like a bit of fresh parsley in here as well.
So are you adding all the herbs quite early to the dish?
Yeah, I do, because I want the flavours to... You know, in Italian we call it un intermingolo, un intingolo. We like it, all the flavours to just come together early and, you know, have their little romance, if you like, inside the dish. So we pop that in there, but later on, when we finish the dish, you can add a little bit of parsley or something like that for that freshness, for that just-made freshness. Right? Now, you can see that meat starting to brown and getting beautiful colour in there. So it's getting lovely and caramelised, and that's where we get all our lovely Italian flavours, you know. Now, some tomato paste, an essential part of this dish. We put a little bit in there like that. And now, we'll give that a little stir as well. Give that a little stir. Don't burn yourself there. Give that a little stir. Do you think we can have a little bit more noise in the background?
Oh, I love it. It's great.
It's good. All right. Just get that cooking.
Okay. Yep. Beautiful.
And now some vino bianco. This is also from northern Italy. We call it the Clare Valley. So just let that cook away there. But it's quite quick. It's quite quick to get together. But then we've got to just let a little stock in there now. A little chicken stock in there. And just a little bit. You can always add a little bit more later. And now here's where we turn it down, nice and gently simmering, so that all the flavours have time to do their thing and have their little party in there. They have a little orgy in there. Okay. Now we're going to leave that alone for a bit, and we're going to move over here.
Gnocchi.
Look, here we go. This is good.
Oh,
Somebody's provided some white wine.
It's very hard to cook without having a drink.
I knew a beautiful girl was coming, so I thought it was essential. Look, we can't waste the rest of that wine anyway.
Beautiful.
So there we go. Cheers. Oh, fantastic. Now,
gorgeous.
For our gnocchi.
Yes.
Now, I picked this purposely. Have you ever seen the scene out of The Godfather where they make the gnocchi together?
You stole my line, my favourite scene in a film.
Well,
Andy Garcia, Sophie Coppola.
Yeah. And how were they? It rocks, doesn't it?
Very
well,
good.
that's why I've chosen the gnocchi today, because I live in hope, Cindy. I live in hope. All right, so
you've got a ricer there.
We've got a potato ricer, yeah.
Which is going to
crush our potatoes. Crush our potatoes.
And you're using Desiree because they're drier.
They have a lovely waxiness to them, and they are drier, you're right. So the idea of gnocchi, good gnocchi, as any Veneto will tell you, is that you need to, I'll just break that up a little bit more. You need to get enough flour in there just to hold the potatoes. Can you manage that one?
Oh, yeah.
It's quite firm. Oh, you're strong. Look at that. You're amazing.
Okay.
That's probably enough for us there anyway. Okay, now...
And gnocchi is actually one of those dishes that people underestimate how easy it is to do.
It's easy. It's a question of feel and touch. You just have to get to know the right quantity. So a bit of salt there. Okay, not too much because it's a small quantity. Little bit of noce moscato again. Just a little thing. Now, you can put eggs into this, or one couple of egg yolks.
Yep.
I wouldn't use egg whites, just egg yolks. Or you can just, a real purist, don't even put anything in there.
Okay.
Now, the idea is to just add enough flour to make it into a dough without getting it too stodgy, and that's the trick. So the drier your potatoes are, and once you boil them, it's always good to put them back in the oven and just dry them off a little bit more as well, so that excess moisture comes out of it. Okay, now I think we're pretty well ready here to start rolling our gnocchi out.
This is where your ceramics, high school ceramics come in. We used to have to roll them out,
Yeah.
the clay.
The ceramics, I remember, yes.
Sort of do a little coil, don't you?
You do, and that's what this is all about. So hopefully this is going to hold together for us.
So rolling that out.
Yeah, rolling our gnocchi out. And now this is where the Godfather part comes into it. We're just going to cut our gnocchi into there, like that.
Fabulous.
And now we're just going to roll those off there like that.
I'm just going to show that. Can you show that up to the camera?
It's like a little washing board thing.
It's a gnocchi board, and
It's
so
a
you get
gnocchi
the little
board.
ridges on it. If you don't have one, though, you can use a fork or something like that.
Use a fork or roll it off the bench as well. You can just roll it straight off the bench.
And the important thing about having the ridges in the gnocchi is so the sauce sticks to, to the gnocchi.
Yeah, it's actually, that is a good purpose for it. So you get that lovely coating on your gnocchi. It doesn't all fall off. Or if you just want to leave them nice and plain, you can leave them nice and plain as well. So just pop them here. Now, you're allowed to do a couple of these, Cindy, while I go and check on my
you
ragu.
check the ragu and
You
I'll
just roll them
go
off
on
like that.
Oh.
How you going? Are you doing well?
I'm doing all right. I'm not as fast as
Oh,
you,
look,
you know.
I think I love your work with your fingers. It's amazing.
It's all on the fingertips.
Okay, now, once we've got this done, we've got enough there. We'll just get a little plate here, out of here, so that we can put our gnocchi onto.
And they don't take very long to cook.
They don't take very long at all, not at all. So what we do is we just pop them into our boiling water, but not too strong. You know how normally for pasta you have boiling water, really lots of salted boiling water? Still salted water, but not too strong, otherwise it can disintegrate our gnocchi. So just a gentle roll for the gnocchi.
And you're just waiting for those to come back up to the top.
Once they float up to the top, then they're ready to go, okay? It's lucky we've got all this sort of stuff handy, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, now our little gnocchi are just floating up to the top there, so we can just take them out. Now, the best way, of course, is just to have these straight away out of the pot. That's how you do it at home. But you can, if you want to cheat a little bit, just cook them ahead of time and then take them out and just leave them in a tray with a little bit of oil, and you can just reheat them when your guests arrive, and off you go, all right? Now, our ragu's been simmering away. It's reduced down. It's looking nice and rich and delicious. Always probably best to just let it simmer gently. I like about an hour.
Yep.
You know, just nice. Even though it's a beautiful lean piece of meat, as Cindy said, but it's nice just to give it that time for all the flavours to just do their bit. And now it's simply a question of just dressing it very Italian, very earthy, very homely. You can see the flavour in that, can't you?
Fabulous.
It's exciting me. It really is. All right, now, the next step, one of the most important steps, I'm going to get down here again. Get a bowl. Thank you, Cindy. You'd be amazing around the kitchen. Isn't she good?
I'm always in the kitchen.
She's so good. Now, pop our gnocchi onto there.
That just looks so...
They actually look good, don't they?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, do I sound surprised? I sound surprised.
It's because everything's so fresh and, it's all been made
Are
right
you talking
now.
about me or the ingredients? And now, this is one of my favourite parts. Beautiful, fresh piece of Reggiano, Parmigiano. Of course, you don't need this, but I love it.
And of course, it's from the Veneto region.
Yeah, from the north. It's from the north. So, some Parmigiano on top there. Now, this is the sort of food I grew up with, okay? So, and of course, as we said, a little bit of, you can do this, another option, prezzemolo fresco, nicely chopped flat leaf parsley just on top, adds that freshness. Not garnish, not colour, just beautiful freshness, okay? And now, I want you to just have a little try.
A little taste.
Because I want to get your opinion. This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Oh. So, the meat's fantastic, really tender, beautiful.
That's the best thing a girl's ever said to me, honestly.
But the vegetables have all got still the texture to them. And,
Well,
you know,
yeah,
it's great.
and as they cook out, they get a bit softer in there. But yeah, I want to thank you for visiting my kitchen today. You're amazing.
Thank you for having us.
You can come back anytime, can't you guys? Anytime, anytime. Thank you, everybody. Have I got flour all over my face?
Hang on a minute.
Oh.
Well, this would have to be one of the most cosiest places I've actually ever interviewed anybody. Cosimo, ciao, and welcome to The Tastes of Italy. You're going to talk to us a little bit about some of the virtues of the beautiful wines found in the Veneto region. Now, you've selected a beautiful wine for us to go with the wonderful meal that Guy has prepared for us.
It's the perfect match to go with the dishes Guy select today.
Now, this is a white wine.
This white wine is which is an indigenous variety, just come from Veneto area, and it's absolutely fantastic bouquet when you beautiful nose, a tropical fruit, walnut flavour.
Tropical fruit. We're talking tropical in the Veneto region.
That's right, because a wine capture everything, all the lots of flavour from everywhere can be found in any wine. And yeah, it's an extraordinary wine. It's well balanced with alcohol and fruit. It's an extraordinary wine.
Now, can this wine be drunk purely with a meal, or can it be drunk?
They can drink as an aperitif. It would be perfect as well.
So that was some amazing footage of the hillsides of Conegliano Valdobbiadene, which is synonymous with the Prosecco wine. We've got two here at the moment.
Exactly. We have two beautiful examples here. One is extra dry and one is a brut. And the extra dry is a perfect to have with in the morning, 11 o'clock, with a nice cantucci with almond. And also the extra dry got almond flavor and peach is beautiful, sparkling to start in the morning.
So we can have one of these at 11 o'clock.
Absolutely.
I think every day should be starting with a Prosecco at 11 o'clock in the day.
Well, John, the Veneto is certainly a treasure trove of fabulous food and great wine. I noticed you've been enjoying some Prosecco.
Absolutely, and with our wonderful Cosimo, who's been educating me on the wonderful flavours of the Prosecco wine. We've got the extra dry. Now,
I'm glad I'm not missing out here.
Darling, you would never miss out. And grazie, Cosimo.
Grazie.
Now, Cindy, I've learnt something new today. I've learnt about un'ombra.
What does that mean?
Un'ombra is a shadow, which basically means that in the 1800s, the wine merchants would park their wine carts behind the shadow of a building. So therefore, every time the sun would move, the shadow would move, and the wine merchants would move their carts drinking their afternoon wine.
Keeping the wine cool, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Very smart, the Italians. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Veneto. Cheers.
Cindy, the best to you, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of The Tastes of Italy. Ciao.
Ciao.